Guys, my name is Andrew Millar, and I did a project on interviewing a chef at River Valley Farm Stable, located at 1820 Wilson Street. Let me just give you a little bit of an overview of myself. I grew up in Argentina, then decided to go to culinary school at Kendall College. So that's where I'm at right now, and I did a project on a man called Bradford Nuv. He's the chef. It's a farmer's restaurant. So what they do is they have their farm in Wisconsin, and they market and sell mushrooms to different purveyors and different places around Chicago. The chef that I interviewed, he's a little bit of a background of him. He started in Central Michigan. He grew up there in a ketchup and noodles Italian restaurant, he called it, of his uncles. And then he later on decided that he wanted to pursue a dream in being an architect. Then he later decided that that wasn't his call, his career choice. So while he was in architect school, he worked at kitchens and different kitchens to sustain himself through architect university. But he went to internship and decided that that wasn't really for him. He hated what he was doing. So later on, throughout discovering different things, he decided, well, I'm doing many things in the kitchen and I really enjoy that. So he realized, wow, I may have a passion for cooking. So then he went to CHIC, it's called Cooking and Hospitality Institute of Chicago. He later on decided that that was a good calling for him and a good foundation, good vocabulary. But if he had to do it over again, I don't think he would take culinary school, just because he thought that it would be more important just to do hands work in a kitchen instead of going to culinary school. Then he later on decided to go to Florida to work at Disney. He did his internship there. He did an internship program there. But one of the things that he hated about working at Disney was the fact that he had to room with so many other cooks. There were in tight quarters, six people for one room, or no, for 2 bedrooms, sorry. And it just wasn't a good environment for him because it was young adults, such as 20 to 23-year-olds, who really wanted to party and do things as young people do. Just wasn't a place where it worked out for him. He said the environment wasn't really what he was looking for, so that didn't work out well. And then later on, he continued his career through different restaurants. He told me that every 3 restaurants that he saw in the city of Chicago, he mainly worked at. He just worked at so many restaurants. He did around 15 years of cooking with different restaurants in Chicago. He later on started working at this place called Brown Trout. And he met this guy he was working with. He was a sous chef there. His name is sous chef Jordan. They were working right next to each other. They decided that they really liked the company of one another, and the friendship grew. They really enjoyed cooking beside each other and really thought that, hey, you guys got talent and I got talent, so why not pursue this as maybe working together as partners and maybe opening up a restaurant in the near future. His father ended up being the sous chef Jordan. The father ended up being an owner of a River Valley farm in Wisconsin, and that's how they connected each other to becoming a River Valley Farm restaurant in Chicago. So that's what they do. They sell River Valley Farm products in this restaurant. They also sell delis such as sandwiches, turkey sandwiches. They haven't opened yet. Their grand opening would be this Friday. And they also are selling coffees in the morning. And then at nighttime, his idea was to sit down, have a bite to eat, and at the same time have a wine or whatever drink you would like to have. And then that's his idea right now. That is the person I interviewed, and then that's what happened. And then let me just tell you a little bit more about the situation. I asked him a few questions about problems that he had faced trying to open up a restaurant. He said one of the biggest things that has occurred in his life was to really try to get all the licenses. He said if you get one license here, then that doesn't really allow you to get a license somewhere else. And so that if you have to get this license first, or else you can't get this other license. So he said there was a lot of difficult issues he had to face trying to get all the licenses ready to have a grand opening on Friday. The bottom line he talked about hiring was that he focused more on the skill sets, not so much on if you get along well with each other, because we all know as humans we are most likely, rather than not going to be able to really like every person that you work with. So he mainly talked about complying to every rule that he set out. Once you get hired, you got hiring papers, and then there he explains to you all the rules, the regulations, and then there you guys kind of get on the same page about what he expects from you and what you should do on a daily basis. The most important thing he talked about was having consistency and being on time was a very big issue, and really just doing their job, doing a really great job, and on handing out a really good product every day. That's basically what he wants you to do. Now, obviously, just listen to his direction. Every person in the industry has always told me to just pretty much shut up and listen to whoever is in charge. And that, I feel like, is sometimes a relevant issue to look at, because I feel like many times we think we are the best cook or best line cook or garde manger or whatever the station may be, because I feel like we think we know we have better recipes, but I feel like if we just stick to it and really work hard at our craft and be consistent in everything we do, I feel like we can reach the same success that this man has been doing so far. So I feel like that's one thing that I learned from him. Some of the ways he's treated his employees throughout the years has been to correct the problems immediately. As soon as he sees a problem, so for example, if he doesn't like a plate that somebody did and is not going to send it out, he sets the person aside, brings them and explains to them correctly what should be done for this plate, and tells them next time, please do this, and if he does the same mistake again, there's going to be consequences to doing this again. Excuse me. The main focus of his restaurant was always to be direct and really stay on top of things and being sure that you knew what you were doing at all times. He would give you all the recipes. He would make sure you knew what you were doing, but he just wanted you to do the steps that you were supposed to do to become successful at what you did. So those are kind of the things that he told me. And then one other thing he told me about motivation, which I thought was a very good thing, motivating his employees. He motivated his employees by doing an open book management. And this idea is implementing a whiteboard where every employee, every person working there can see it. And then he would write out food cost, labor cost, cost of waste, and a silly thing such as knives left in the sink. And so every week you would want to reach your goals on labor costs, reach your goals on cost of waste. So you don't want to reach those goals every week, so that way you could run a successful business. Because if you don't run out of money, then you don't have a place to work at. And I feel like that's a really good idea, such as maybe you could clock out a few minutes early to save money for that week. So I feel like that's a very good way to engage with your employees, and then that way you don't have to explain to them every week, where's all of our money going, why can I get a raise. So it really helps the employees to know where they are standing, where they are going, and where they are pursuing their goals to. So I feel like that's a really good idea. I felt like he was a man full of knowledge. I really learned a lot, really learned to think about different things about owning a restaurant and being a chef at a restaurant, really knowing to be persistent and consistent in whatever things you do, and really not yelling at your employees, but just teaching them, educating them the better way to do things. And then if you don't like them, then maybe you need to part ways and look at another job, another place to work at. Because I feel like that now, at his stage where he's at right now in his life, I feel like he needs to hire employees that are consistent with his skills, but not so much with if he likes them or not emotionally. Because I feel like when you're working at a job, you don't really focus on if you're getting along with each other, because if you don't get along with each other, then that means there are problems with each other. But I feel like you can settle those things out and work beside of someone you don't like. You just don't talk to them and get the job done, and I feel like everybody will be good. I feel like those are some things that I learned. He talked to me about the owner and the chef being loyal friends to each other, so I feel like those are really good things that we can learn in life, to be loyal to friends, be loyal to the people you work with, and be consistent in everything you do, always having a good attitude in everything you do. Thank you very much for listening to my YouTube. Hope to see you guys soon, wherever we are, in Chicago or Kendall. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much for listening to my video.